PharmaPhobic is powered by Achieve the Lifestyle, a company dedicated to helping you empower your health, redefine your lifestyle, and all for the health of it. You're listening to PharmaPhobic, where we challenge the state of health in America. I'm Janie, a physician assistant, and I've seen how healthcare keeps people dependent instead of truly healthy.
And I'm Dan, a veteran turned fitness pro here to uncover the truth and explore simple and sustainable health solutions. From big pharma to big food, we're exposing the conflicts of interest keeping us sick and finding better ways to take back our health.
No fluff, no gimmicks, just real talk, real solutions, and a little bit of fun along the way.
Hello there. Welcome to another episode of PharmaPhobic, brought to you by Achieve the Lifestyle, where we help you become the strongest, healthiest, and most capable version of yourself. As always, guys, I'm here in great company. Special guest of the podcast. Recurring special guest on the podcast.
Not a special guest. We're co-hosts.
And she thinks she's a co-host.
I think. Interesting.
My lovely wife, the love of my life. Oh, what a life it is. Miss Janie Brown, how are you doing today?
Buenos dias.
Gracias para vivir en la casa.
Azul.
How are you doing today?
I'm great. It's bright and early.
It is. It's a beautiful day here in South Florida. It's spring. It's 65 degrees, which means we got our Arctic gear on.
I'm wearing pants.
Yep, it's Arctic gear time. And the sun is shining very brightly. We're by the beach, so yes, it's beautiful.
Thanks
and
for
it's
the
like you
weather
see the
report.
hue too. Like you see, I was driving in, I was like, oh, look at that. It's like the red light is really strong right now. I feel like I should be in the beach like this.
You crunchy.
I know. But that's the way it was made, guys. You got to get that morning sunlight, get your melanin up.
Dan's also decided that he's not going to cut his hair.
Guys, it's been a week, okay? Busy schedule. Set an appointment with the barber. The barber can't make that time last minute. It's not my fault. My wife wants me to change barbers, but all you gentlemen out there,
Tell them how far you drive.
30 minutes to go see my guy.
So 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back. That's an hour. And you complain of a busy schedule.
Listen, let's make the point here. Guys, gentlemen out there, please explain, because all the ladies right now are like, yeah, just get another barber. First of all, you drive like 40 minutes to go see your person.
Because my person moved, I followed her, and I have the schedule that allows it. If I didn't have a schedule to allow it, I would change.
Okay. Excuses. Anyway, guys, explain to your ladies out there that when you find a barber, that's a marriage, right? And you stick with your barber. You don't just hop barbers. And barbers know that. So you don't just show up to barbershops and be like, yo, cut my hair. It ain't that kind of time anymore.
Well, I also had this just novel idea to maybe when you get your hair cut with the barber, you go ahead and make an appointment for however long. He's like, hey, I want to see you back in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever. You set an appointment at that time and you make it on a day where you're most likely available, which would be Saturday afternoons when you're most likely available. So then if you need to tweak it later on as it gets closer, you can do that, but you have a set appointment. You don't have to think about it. You wait until you're like, oh man, I needed a haircut a week ago to then try to schedule an appointment.
What you're saying makes sense, but I need you to stop making sense. Because, I'm a week-to-week scheduler. Like I'm a client-based business,
See,
right?
This is how arguments go. I make a point and he argues against a point that I didn't even make. I said make an appointment Saturday afternoons. You're talking about how your Monday through Friday is busy.
I'm a client-based business, guys. I can't plan the week like that until I fit in my appointments. And usually my appointments get fit in week to week.
Yeah, and you have people that you train on Saturday afternoons.
Girl, stop it. I want to chill on Saturday afternoon.
Okay, there we go. Anyway.
We're here today to talk about some health stuff, guys. Some health news, okay? Some business. We got business to tend to. You guys saw right now, you experienced it. This is how I live my life. I have a wife at home that just gets on my butt about
Who's
stuff.
just oddly logical. So annoying.
Okay. You ready to talk about some health stuff?
I love you.
I love you too.
All right.
You ready to get into some health stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So we had some topics from a couple podcasts ago that we didn't get to because we expounded too much on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to catch up today with stuff that we had laid out to talk to you guys about.
Tie up some loose ends.
Tie up some loose ends. I went back in the files, guys, maybe a couple weeks ago. I have one here. School lunches. There's a mandate coming out from the Department of Health, HHS. School lunches are supposed to be food dye and seed oil free by September 2026.
This is wonderful.
First thing, we did an episode a while back. I mean, it's crazy. We've been at this for over a year now, but it's been a while back, probably in the, I would say 20s, maybe before, where we talked about studies connecting depression, anxiety, and ADHD separately to nutrition, right? And then these studies in kids with ADHD symptoms and all this sort of thing, and how diet changes made it easier to manage, quell the symptoms by a lot of all this other stuff. So school lunches being what they are now and being what they want them to be, it makes perfect sense that you should probably start with nutrition.
Yeah. I grew up, single mother, so we didn't have a lot of money. So brown bag lunch, right? So I brought my lunch. It almost seemed the school that I went to, and granted, small town, it was, if you bought school lunch, you were better off.
Same thing with me.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you could do the school lunch, you could do a la carte, whatever. But I do know, and we never got this, so I don't know if it wasn't available at my school or we didn't qualify. I don't know. But that some schools have vouchers to where you get breakfast and lunch.
Yeah, I think
for
it's
free
flipped.
or
I think
something
it's
like
flipped.
that.
So with, like you said, the same thing with me.
Right.
Like if you took a lunchbox to school, you were kind of made fun of.
Why are you poor?
Yeah, exactly. You were kind of made fun of. And whenever my mom would give me a lunchbox, I always wanted the school lunch, and because you had to pay for it, right? Somewhere in there, they made it a part of like almost like a SNAP benefit or something like that, where they'll provide the lunch and the breakfast to the kids, and they're kids of lower income that they get the majority of their food at school because it's free. Right.
And so I know some people are going to twist this around. Well, if you cut food dyes and seed oils out of school lunches, what's that going to be for the availability of food for school lunches? Because that's what one thing that people fear about cutting these things out. It means access to food is going to be less likely. And so is that going to affect people who rely on breakfast and lunch at school, the benefits of that for SNAP or whatever? And then if they then have to rely on their own food to bring to school, they can't because low income or whatever. However, I think that this is going to reap huge benefits because, like you mentioned, I can't remember if it was it's not from Nick, but we talked about it, or did we talk about it? How I think it's in Japan.
Yeah.
Their school lunches are.
I was going to bring them up. It is Japan.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to talk about that?
It's Japan.
And their test scores or the IQs of the kids or whatever measurement they use are just sky high.
So Japan has a nutritionist on staff at every school. There's mandatory nutrition classes for the kids. And then every school meal made has to be a certain way, like only fresh ingredients. They have all these regulations on what they serve at school, right? And it has to be, whole food based type stuff. Apparently France has a similar thing. I was just seeing a video of them. France. Comments, but whatever. Okay. But the Japanese, that's how they roll. Right. So the kids are taught about nutrition, what's good food, blah, blah, blah. And they get to eat this insanely whole food based diet throughout the day. that whole stance that, oh, we're going to limit access to food, I think that is a cop-out. It's excuses. It's myopic thinking. It's very small brain thinking. What do you mean there's no food out there that you can source that doesn't have nonsense in it? We can't talk to companies that produce food to make better choices in what they're putting in the food.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about this, like that you have to force the industry to change, right? Like it just, you guys are putting a bunch of nonsense in the food. Why? I don't understand it, because you don't have to.
It's money.
You know, well,
it's money, and then money downstream from the effects of giving them this crap.
That exactly. I the only thing I land on is nefarious intent. The more I chew on this, and I do it every day, and because I can't help it, I'm just like, there's no other reason than nefarious intent.
Well, and some people may not have nefarious intent, but they're just ignorant because it's been so.
I'm not saying factory workers that are producing this food.
No, I understand.
People,
yeah.
I'm talking
it's the
at
decision makers.
Decision maker, BlackRock investment money level, you know, even the food scientists. Because I think I told you this. I had a client who was a food scientist, and then he became the CEO of a beverage company and all this stuff. Very successful food scientist guy, and we were having conversations about food. And it's funny because obviously he studied that. Mm-hmm. So I'm telling him about ingredients, and it's like he knows that, oh, yeah, that's not a great ingredient, but he's still okay with it being in the food.
Well,
type
because
of thing.
He was probably rewarded, right? Because you can like, okay, I know this is bad, but I'm going to be rewarded if I can get something that's really hyper palatable.
Yeah. And
right. So it's almost conditions you in a sense, be like, I know that's bad, but I was told I did good, you know?
Yeah. And he partakes in eating nonsense that he knows it's not a great ingredient. And, you know, he's telling me how some of these ingredients are selected, how they're making some of these flavors and stuff like that. I'm like, ugh.
Well,
but he's like, it's a siloed thinking, right? Like, he's like, I'm just making food.
Right.
And then not saying like, oh, but that could cause disease. Like that connection just, that's precludes him.
Human nature to a degree where we do things and we know, like smoking. Right? Oh, this is bad, but...
Like doctors smoking.
But the bad stuff's not going to happen to me, you know? So we sort of have this, or what was I... Oh, that podcast clip that you sent me about Operation Artichoke, where it's that... we won't go into it,
yeah,
but that knee-jerk reaction of humans to see something so bad, but then just be like, well, that can't be true.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a future episode because that's a good...
Yeah, and it's almost like
it plays into what we're talking about now.
There's sort of an underlying, how do I want to say it, presence that's telling us like to not look too closely, to don't think it's real, keep carrying on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. There's a disconnect, right? Because this guy, you know, he makes food or made food. He made a great living off of producing processed foods and concocting stuff and mixing stuff. And, you know, when I'm saying like, well, this has this in it, I'm like, oh, yeah, I know about that. Yeah, that's not great. But he eats it.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, you know, medical issues that have come with it for him. But, it's like it's separated between I'm just making food and, oh, this stuff is actually bad for you. Yeah. So this is where like I can't blame a guy like him, but people that have selected those ingredients, that have seen the studies on, hey, this stuff is not great. Like the food dyes, we've been talking about them. Like people were talking about them already in the 70s, as I'm finding out.
You're reading a book right now from the 70s.
And guys, you're going to get a full book report. A client of mine gave me a book that she read in 1973. Okay, because she's in her 70s. And she's telling me about all this stuff in the food. So she gave me the book. She had to go dig it out of some thrift store, whatever. And she gave it to me, the book. It's a secondhand book. It's all brown and stuff. And I started reading it. And I told Janie, I was like, I think I'm going to be pissed off. Because what I'm reading already is stuff that sounds like stuff that we're talking about right now.
Yeah, I sent the summary of it to a friend. I said, guess what year? it was published. She said 2014. And I was like, 70s.
Yeah. 1972 published book. And, you know, it reads like something that you would find now, and people are still fighting these ideas, right? They're like, oh, no, it can't be. So think about that for a second. But anyway, it's this siloed thinking where, you know, at this level, people have been presented information. They've seen the studies. They've seen, hey, this isn't great. They've seen the outcomes, but they're putting that in a drawer and, oh, don't look over there. Just keep pumping out this stuff, right?
Yeah. And so I think it's great that they're starting with the kids.
Oh, no doubt.
The same way that in Florida, they evaluated all the formulas, the baby formulas.
Yeah.
And isn't there something, I need to look into this. I tucked it away in my mind because I heard it, that there's a law mandating that baby formulas have to have seed oils or some sort of incentive for them to have. It's really hard to find a baby formula that doesn't.
It doesn't. I think it's like a fat. They need a certain amount of fat in it. We need to dig into that a little deeper.
But with Florida, they looked at the baby formulas. Now federally, so nationwide, they're talking about taking seed oils and dyes out of food lunches because with the kids,
school lunches.
What did I say?
Food lunches.
Food lunches. It's not wrong. It's a food lunch. School lunches. Sorry, thank you. But because we've talked about before how this sooner and sooner we're seeing things like obesity, hypertension, diabetes, hyperlipidemia, fatty liver in children, and it's not genetics that's causing it to happen earlier and earlier. It's food. It's environmental factors. Food being probably the most potent. Now,
yes, because the thing is, like, older people are kind of staunch and set in their ways. And it's like, I grew up eating Oreos. I'm going to die eating Oreos.
Well, and also
type
not
of
to
thing.
sound morbid, but it's to some extent the damage is done.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
Like you can reverse some things. We're finding like estrogen therapy in older women can actually reverse atherosclerosis, which is building up a plaque in the arteries to some extent, which is amazing. And you can reverse like osteopenia, osteoporosis. You can reverse hypertension. You can reverse insulin resistance, all these things. But sometimes when these things are have been in effect for a certain amount of time, they cause damage that cannot be undone. Even if you do improve blood sugar, the blood pressure, things like that, the effects of it have already harmed.
Yeah, like if the arterial lining.
Right,
stuff, yeah.
right. And so it's not that we shouldn't help these people. So older people should take into account because it's going to improve the biggest thing, which you cannot monitor on blood work or with a scan, that I don't think people pay enough attention to, especially medical providers when they're doing management plans for patients, is why are we not talking about quality of life? Why is that not a metric that's equally as powerful as your cholesterol level? Because at the end of the day, when you're walking around, whether or not you can get up and down off your toilet, you can get in and out of a car, you can actually drive, you can play with your kids, your grandkids, you can participate in activities your friends ask you for, is going to impact you more on a regular basis than what your cholesterol level is on a lab. So I think that that's something that, and a lot of people will say it's not true that I'm overreacting with this, but you cut seed oils out of your diet, you cut food dyes out of your diet, you will see an improvement in quality of life.
I agree. I mean, just by the stuff that you're going to have to dodge by saying, you know what, I'm going to give it 30 days and I'm not going to eat seed oils for 30 days. The amount of stuff that you got to dodge at that point, it just turns into a whole food-based diet. You have no choice but to eat that way.
Yeah.
Now, people, going back to it, like that argument that, it's going to preclude access. We're not saying we're taking away school lunches from people that giving it away from them.
We're just changing them.
We're just going to give them better food, which is what we should be doing for everybody.
And now let's take a quick break. Have you heard about collagen and how amazing it is for your skin, hair, nails, digestion, and joints, but have no clue which one to choose? I've been there. A few years ago, I stumbled upon Bubs Naturals, and let me tell you, I've been hooked ever since. Here's why I swear by them. Bubs Naturals keeps their quality standards sky high from the start to finish. Their collagen blends perfectly in coffee, or really any other beverage you love. Plus, Plus, they've got convenient to-go packs so you can stay on track wherever life takes you. And it doesn't stop there. They'll donate 10% of all of their proceeds to charities that support veterans. How awesome is that? Oh, and they've leveled up their electrolytes too. The mixed berry, that's my absolute favorite. It's light, refreshing, and not overly sweet. What sealed the deal for me? Their electrolytes are NSF certified, made right here in the USA, and just like their collagen, every purchase helps give back. So do your body a favor, head to bubnaturals.com and use my code JANE20 at checkout for 20% off every time you order. Tired of looking like you lost a fight with a powdered donut every time you work out? Yeah, I was too. That's why I ditched the messy chalk and switched to Chalkless. Chalkless is a new, clean, residue-free grip enhancer that goes on in seconds and lasts for hours. No clouds, no cleanup, just a rock-solid grip. Whether you're crushing it in the gym, dominating on the pickleball court, or hanging on a rock face like Spider-Man, Chalkless has your back. I even hit my 350-pound deadlift PR at Summer Strong using Chalkless. Locked in, zero slip, total confidence. Ready to level up your grip game? Head over to chalkless.com and use code JANEBROWN to snag 10% off your order. And maybe it's going to cost more money. It probably is going to cost more money. But as we've been learning as Americans, a lot of our taxpayer, which my taxes, I need to finish this. But anyway, a lot of our money for taxes, what's it being spent on?
I wasn't ready for that conversation. So yeah, we're offshoring a lot of money. We offshore so much money that it's insane, and that you wouldn't at least bring back half of that money and spend it on your own people, especially when you start talking about states that want to raise taxes. And even at the federal level, that taxes never go down. You might get a tax break. You might get a little break here. Oh, you can write off more stuff here, but they never say, you know what, we're going to lower the tax rate. It never happens. It always goes up. So we're giving up more money to the collective good. Why not do actually good stuff with it? Like change school lunches for kids.
Right.
Here's what's happening. Kids are getting chronic illnesses quicker. So instead of, eating garbage and having blood pressure issues and blood sugar issues in your 40s, now those blood pressure and blood sugar issues arise in your late 20s. Mm-hmm. So now you're got to go to your doctor, you got to get on medication, you got to get on these treatment plans sooner. So now you spend more time on the treadmill of healthcare. What does that do? It's going to raise the cost of healthcare.
Right.
Because more and more people are clogging up the system, needing access to healthcare to manage their chronic illnesses. So it makes sense that we start by changing the kids' diet so that they don't get sick sooner.
But it's already happening, but people don't realize it because I'll just take young women, like girls, as an example. Mm-hmm. Okay, they're not sick now, right? But are they not? Because maybe if we're eating poor nutrition, we're not eating enough, whether that's the quality of the food or maybe restriction because of a sport or something like that. Well, now our periods are irregular, right? Because hormones, you can talk about all the other endocrine disruptors that are going to affect hormones as well. But now I'm a young girl. My period's not regular. Guess what we're going to do to fix that?
Birth control.
Put you on birth control. Great. Now, what have studies shown that when you're on birth control, you're going to need down the road?
Antidepressant.
An SSRI, right? Now my gut health is just gone, okay? And then, now I'm on birth control. Now I'm on an SSRI. Now I'm spending money on these things.
Refer back to our podcast episode where we talked about Americans spending over half of their life on polypharmacy, basically on multiple medications. Episode, we're in the 50s. That probably was in the 30s or high 20s.
Right.
And women specifically spending over 60%. Men, they estimate 50%. Women over 60% of their life on medications, namely birth control and antidepressant, anti-anxiety medication that they tend to start at the age of 15.
Yeah.
Is the average. That's crazy, y'all.
Right. And so we've been conditioned as a society to be like, well, birth control is a normal med. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong. False. Okay. Antidepressant, that's life. That's just, Mercury's in retrograde and you know what I mean? I can't handle this. And so I'm on a depression, so nothing's wrong. That's normal, right? Wrong.
I'm a Gemini. I just flip out.
Yeah. And so, But it's the same thing. Like we've been conditioned. Well, I'm a 40-year-old man. I should be on lisinopril for my blood pressure. It's normal. No, it's not. We were
I'm a
not
dad.
designed to do all these things.
I'm a dad. I'm 40% body fat. It's normal.
And so, yeah, I'm a dad bod.
Yep.
Because I have a child, therefore I can let myself go.
And then you get this mainstream push to dad bods are sexier than dudes who work out. Okay.
Yeah, it says
You're
women
right.
on birth control.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You're right. I believe you.
Because when you're on birth control, it can alter your mind. So you're attracted to not the dominant alpha style male, but more the beta male. You know, all those memes are going around. It's like when you're a soy boy and your girl gets off birth control.
Now you're afraid for your life. Oh, she could see me. Oh, God.
Yeah. And so Your Brain on Birth Control is a great book to read if you want to look more into that. But anyway, it all starts with the quality of the food, the crap that we're putting into the food. If we ate more of this world, how we're supposed to eat, not man-made things, then would we need this over-reliance on medications that seem quote-unquote harmless? Would we need to be pacified with meds so that we just, you don't feel, you're told what to do, you just keep moving through. And like Dan said, you spend more healthcare dollars. These medications are going to cause not even side effects, but effects that you're going to need treated. And now we're seeing, because so many women around my age, I'm 41, were put on birth control at young ages, the fertility is declining. The fertility industry is booming right now because so many people are having trouble getting pregnant. Do you think that suppressing somebody's hormones for 20 to 30 years has anything to do with that? They're going to tell you no, that it's okay.
It's a coinky dink.
Yeah.
It's a little coinky dink.
Yeah. So it's hard, but I think improving quality of food is a great place to start.
For children specifically.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I'm not even talking about that's just like quote unquote normal things, but I'm not even talking about the increase in childhood obesity, which,
dear God.
right along that increase, you're increasing childhood fatty liver disease. Now kids are going on medications like Ozempic or the other injectables, or because they have fatty liver, now their fat metabolism is being altered. So their triglycerides pop up. So now they're having to be placed on statins or other medications to bring down triglycerides, which cause other issues. And we know number one side effect, not number one, but a huge side effect of statins is increase in blood sugar. So now they're going to get diabetes. So now we need to medicate that. And it's just, it all comes back to the quality of our food. And if you don't think that that's true, then I guess get a colorful pill organizer, because that's what you're going to need.
It's very, like me dealing with kids that are athletes, right? They're more active than the average kid because they're playing sports year round and this sort of thing. But a lot of them, I see a lot of heavier set kids, right? And then we start talking about food. We're eating off of vending machines most of the day. We're eating school lunches. And I remember this one mom from this group of kids I was working with, she had one kid that was in shape and the other kid was struggling. And then we start talking about nutrition. The kid that's struggling eats school lunch all the time. The kid that's in better shape doesn't. He packs his own lunch, right? I'm like, Mom, I'm like, let's pay attention to this. But as soon as I put the kid on the InBody, we start talking about nutrition. It was just an intake thing. I'm like, what's your day of eating look like? And he's telling me about school lunch. And I was like, that's not great. And the mom's like, I told you to stop eating that school lunch. I'm like, Mom, you see, moms, you got that intuition, right? You got to interject. You got to intervene right there. Be like, hey, you're done with school lunches. We're packing you lunch. Look at what your brother's doing. Look at what you're doing. We're not. Why are we separating the strategy between two kids in the same household? And it sucks that, obviously this is different, right? These families are hiring people like me that it's a different income level. They can afford these things more readily, right? Then I start talking to these kids about school lunches, and some of them are waking up. They're like, no, I don't eat school lunch anymore. Good. I'm taking my own stuff. I'm eating rice and beef. I'm eating this and that.
Yeah.
My mom packs me this. Good. But to hear things like, oh, it's juice or soda, But if I want water, I have to pay for it.
Right.
Wild. How is water more expensive than juice or soda and stuff that you actually got to make and put ingredients in? Wild. It should be default. Here's your water. And if you want juice and soda, you're going to pay for it. I don't understand. I don't understand this. And, it goes to show, too, when you go to the grocery store, a gallon of water is more expensive than a 24-pack of soda type of thing. I'm exaggerating. Probably a 6-pack of soda would be worth less than the gallon, right? So it's easier to buy soda and juice than it is to buy water. Wild. Last time I checked, I don't think you need Sunkist to hydrate, right? Dr. Pepper doesn't replenish electrolyte levels.
Yeah.
So it's wild to think that that's what you're up against. So this is a good start, right? Changing school lunches. How do we circumvent, right? Lower income families, we just got to make better choices. They're going to help you out, supposedly, allegedly, by September by changing the ingredients and changing what they're providing at the schools. That's going to help a lot of people out if they do it right. Don't give me this vegan lunches like New York's doing or none of this trash. Don't, okay? Imagine, if you will, a school buying regional stuff from local farms. Oh, we get our eggs from a place like Coastal Pastures.
Yeah.
And we serve these fresh eggs every morning for our kids. We make them some nice omelets. We get vegetables from this place up in over here, blah, 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 blah. That's how Japan does it, guys. Local, boom, bring it to the school and you spend government money on your little local economy and it works out for everybody. So just putting that out there. Parents, till then, oh man, pack your kids' lunches. Just do it. It should be cool for you to take a lunchbox to school.
Also, it's a great opportunity to get your kids involved in food choices and how they nourish their body. And I'm not talking about like fighting with them about, what putting in Doritos or not and things like that, but like really taking the time to educate we're not parents, I understand that, but to me, that is part of your job, is to teach them how to nourish their body. And if you don't know, because you weren't taught that, then let's break that cycle. Take a nutrition course, read a book, reach out to us, talk to us about it. But taking the time for getting the kids involved in, okay, when we pack your lunch, we need to make sure you have a good source of protein because that's going to help with your brain and so that you can pay attention in class. We need to have like good fruits and vegetables for micronutrients. We need to have like healthy fats for your brain as well. And so how do we make that happen? Okay. And getting them involved. So like I've mentioned in past episodes, we get rid of that disconnect between I know nothing about where my food is coming from or what it's doing for my body. I just eat because it tastes good. And so, using that as an opportunity. Is it going to take more time? Yes. Is it worth it? Yes. So.
Yeah. And just remember, everything that you want, people want their kids to do well in sports. They want their kids to do well in school, right? Those are all great things. Nutrition is going to be a huge part of that.
Yes.
They want their kids to sleep better. They want to manage behavioral issues. Nutrition. If your strategy doesn't include better nutrition, then you're probably barking up the wrong tree.
Yep.
Okay? Something to remember. Moving on, expanding here on this thing about school lunches. One thing you get in school lunches a lot is bread, right? So, Florida testing. They did the berry formulas. You mentioned it earlier. They went into the breads.
Oof.
And this was insane. So they were testing glyphosate levels in common bread brands, right? And there's other terrible and unnecessary ingredients in the average bread. You remember when we were in Vegas that one time and we were trying to find some like normal hamburger buns?
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I went down the entire bread aisle, top shelf to bottom shelf. I went to the bakery just looking for a bread that wasn't.
And I told him, I was like, listen, you're either going to need to get romaine lettuce and do like the sorority girl burger, or you're going to have to just suck it up because this is what it is.
I mean, sourdough bread in the grocery store, enriched with all sorts of stuff. Artisanal breads. And I'm just going up in high, expensive artisanal breads. None of it had normal ingredients in it, okay? So other stuff you find in bread, that's a problem. Obviously seed oils, because you need seed oils to make bread. I mean, I don't think anybody's ever made bread without using a seed oil. So there you go. So your bread is not only a carb bomb, now it has added fat to it, right?
Yep.
Enriched flour. That's always a problem because it's enriched or fortified with synthetic.
Meaning they
stuff.
took out and now they have to add back in.
They have to replenish.
And the problem is that our body doesn't recognize that the same.
Yep. Folic acid. We've
Not
talked about
folate.
this before. Not folate,
Folic acid.
folic acid. Okay. Folate,
Good.
good. Folic acid, not so good. This is a good one. BHT.
You need me to read it?
I'm just saying BHT because the words that I'm about to come out of my mouth are not stuff that you've ever heard before in your life. Nobody would know what this is. So why are you eating it? Why is it in my food? Butylated hydroxytoluene. Toluene.
Is that the one that's like jet fuel?
It's a synthetic antioxidant used to extend the shelf life of bread.
Love that.
Guys, look, the words that just came out of my mouth sound like a freaking nerve gas agent or something like that. Like, this is insane. Why is it in the food?
They make that stuff easier to say.
Yeah, why is it in the food? Wait, butylated why is it in the food, guys? Look at that. Why is it in the food? Like, it makes no sense. So anyway, BHT specifically, because it zero in on that, it's illegal to use elsewhere. You can't use it in Europe. You can't use it in Canada. You can only use it in America with our bread. So it's grass. It's generally regarded as safe by the FDA. There you go, FDA. Good job. Generally regarded as safe. If you listened to us before, generally regarded as safe label is something the FDA concedes. It's usually based on the company's own testing, and it's these very minimal doses that are like, oh, look, you see, I gave them a little droplet of this and nothing happened in the first 3 days, so it's good to go. It's generally regarded as safe, but they're going to put way more in the product than they tested for.
They're like, we're testing to see.
And it's very short-term testing.
But the generally regarded as safe, it's healthy or, and you're like, or what? They're like, or. That's just it. Just.
So the thing is, they've tied BHT to endocrine disruption, liver and kidney damage, and here we go, school lunches, behavioral issues. Right. So, as I said, BHT is the only place.
Adderall for everyone.
Yep, BHT. The only place it's used is here in the United States. It's not allowed for use in Europe. It's not allowed for use in Canada. So chew on that. Now, with the breads that they tested. Glyphosate in the common breads. So they went on parts per billion. Oh, dear Lordy. Coming in at number 1. Highest parts per billion of glyphosate in your brain. If you remember, glyphosate is the pesticide, the Roundup, the cancer-causing chemical that's probably...
Which, side note, I love that Kelly at our gym uses an empty Roundup container for the cleaner for the mats. So every time I just see this big Roundup thing. It's just a container labeled for it, right? Because she uses that thing to spray the mats. But anyway, it was just funny.
So here you go. 1 bread. Sara Lee honey wheat bread. Sounds great, huh?
Sounds healthy.
191 parts per billion of glyphosate. That is an extremely high level of glyphosate. Right. It doesn't sound like much, right?
Yeah.
No, it's plenty. Nature's Own. Oh, Nature's Own is.
That's so healthy.
That is so, it's Nature's
sounding.
Own.
So healthy
Nature's
sounding.
Own. Butter bread. 190. There you go. Here's another one. Nature's Own perfectly crafted white. It's perfectly crafted, guys. 132. Wonder Bread. Everybody knows Wonder Bread.
My childhood.
Yeah.
And Iron Kids, I think that was part of Wonder Bread, maybe.
Now, the thing with Wonder Bread is that it's very common and it's cheaper. But guess what? It's lower than Sara Lee. It's only 173 parts per billion.
But there was that stigma to where, Sara Lee's like more, maybe a little bit more expensive, but you're better if you have it.
Oh, God.
Was it like nobody does it like Sara Lee or something like that? I
Yeah.
don't remember.
Here's one, Dave's Killer Bread, which is awfully popular right now. We used to eat that back
We
in
used to
New
eat
York.
it.
Yeah, it's awfully popular right now. And I guess at some point, Dave's Killer Bread might have come out with some awesome bread. I wish we would have taken pictures of the ingredients back then.
Yeah.
Because they obviously got acquired and they became a national thing.
It does taste better than the other ones. I will say that.
Yeah, and then they got some interesting blends.
Yeah.
They came out at 10 to 11 parts per billion, which is significantly lower than all this other stuff. But they're still on there as high glyphosate levels. Ones that tested below the detection limit, so doesn't mean that they're glyphosate free, but they tested below is Sara Lee Artisanal White and Pepperidge Farmhouse Hardy White.
Those are going to be more expensive.
Yeah, that's top shelf bread.
My mom, growing up, my mom worked at a grocery store. I worked at a grocery store for a little bit, so that's why it's not like I just remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, the biggest thing with that is that we're not saying to, if you want to eat bread, get that bread. But maybe just take a look into what can I get that's going to have less of a toxic burden, because getting zero is very hard. And especially if, you're lower income, like I was growing up, bread was, like put bread broiled in the oven with some butter and cinnamon sugar, make it with some chipped beef and gravy for SHIT on a shingle. And then what else would we use it for? Bologna sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly, like grilled cheese, tuna melts, all these things. I mean, it was a staple. So it's hard to get away from it because it is so accessible. And so then it's just finding ways to lower the toxic burden.
Yep. Yeah, I give you two better options there with Sara Lee Artisanal White. Like I said, definitely that's probably top shelf bread.
Or even Wonder Bread. That was the lower one on there.
Dave's Killer was the lowest one.
Yeah. But Dave's Killer is going to be more expensive than Wonder Bread.
Yep. Now, out of all the common ones, it seems like Wonder Bread is the better option. We're talking glyphosate here. That doesn't mean that all the other ingredients are all right.
Right.
Like when you start seeing the seed oils in there, you start seeing the folic acid, all the enriched nonsense that they put in there.
The best thing to do, the absolute best thing to do is make your own bread at home. And I know a lot of people, we did that growing up. At some point, my mom got a bread maker, but then, be mindful of what ingredients you're using yourself or finding a local bakery. We have Seacrest sourdough, minimal ingredients. So just if you can either make it in your home yourself, source locally, and then trying to find the least toxic one on the shelf at the grocery store. That's in order, I think.
Yeah, we can close out with the glory of sourdough bread.
The glory.
It's glorious. It's phenomenal. When you eat sourdough bread, like true sourdough, not that stuff they're selling at the grocery store that they're calling sourdough, that kind of looks like sourdough, but then when you read the ingredient labels, it's just Wonder Bread with a little bit of sourdough culture in it. First of all, it keeps really well. People think that it's going to go stale in 2 days. It doesn't. It actually keeps really well.
We bought a special bag to keep the bread in, so it's linen, but it's lined with beeswax.
Yeah. So it keeps really well on the counter. And then when you toast it, it gets a little hard, and then you toast it, and boom, you have glorious bread again. It's good for your gut health. Okay, it's got lots of good gut health microbes in there. That fermentation process basically breaks down stuff in the wheat and that could be problematic to you. So
a lot of people with gluten intolerance, not allergy, but gluten intolerance can handle true sourdough bread better.
Yep.
So there are some pizza locally, if you're in South Florida, How You Doin' uses sourdough crust. So looking for things like that.
Yep, I put that on there. Possible circumvention of gluten issues due to the fermentation process. So that's really good. Same thing with vegetables. People that have issues with vegetables or some vegetables, you cook them a little bit or you ferment them like sauerkraut and things like that. And boom, that stuff is dealt with. Minimal ingredients, okay? And then Janie mentioned buying your own. Making sourdough right now, it's like very...
yeah, but I'm not even saying you have to make sourdough. You can just make regular... Like we found... whenever we do make burgers at home, I get those buns where olive oil. They're based in olive oil.
Those are from Spain.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can make that at home.
Yeah. But people making sourdough is getting really popular, making it at home. You buy the starter kit and then you can make an inordinate amount of sourdough.
It is a time commitment. That's the reason why I haven't done it.
Now.
In counter space.
But you're making your own bread at home, right? So
Yeah.
that's an option, and you have all your bread if it's that important to you. And then beware of the fake stuff. Like I said, at the grocery store, that they know sourdough is popular right now. So they'll put all these sourdough breads in the bakery, but when you pick them up and look at the ingredients, they're anything but sourdough. True sourdough, 3-5 ingredients at most, mostly salt, enzyme, sourdough cultures, and your wheat. That's it. So, and water.
Yeah.
So does that sound like BHT? Like something you can't pronounce? No, it doesn't. You know what all of that is, because that's what the
Sodium
good Lord wants you to
chloride.
eat. So,
Dihydrogen oxide, H2O.
just saying.
I'm just trying to make it sound like the BHT.
No, BHT is insane. It's insane. It just sounds like something you shouldn't eat. Anyway, that's all we got.
Yeah. So if you want more information or insight into breads or how to, pack a school. Oh, a great resource for if you're a family wanting to eat together with foods. Sean Mottle's book, the Sean Mottle Family Cookbook, I think is what it's called. Or what's his book? Eat Better? Eat Better Family Cookbook. That's something to definitely check out. But anyway, if we can help with anything, please email us at info@achievethelifestyle.com or shoot us a DM at Achieve the Lifestyle on Instagram.
It go down in the DM.
Yeah. And our website is achievethelifestyle.com.
With that in mind, guys, I want you to go to Target or Walmart, wherever you prefer. You could do it on Amazon. Buy yourself a nice lunchbox. Okay.
I didn't know where you were going.
Start packing your lunches. Okay. Take control over what you're eating. Don't depend on other people to feed you and hopes that they're thinking about your long-term health, because they're not. Okay. Pack your lunches. And after you do that, I want you to stay pharma-free. Thanks for listening to the PharmaPhobic podcast. If you found this conversation interesting, which I know you did, make sure to follow us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And also make sure to check us out on Instagram at Achieve the Lifestyle. And if you're interested in pursuing a stronger, healthier, more capable version of yourself, check out our website at achievethelifestyle.com.
The PharmaPhobic podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views expressed are those of the hosts and guests and do not constitute medical, legal, or professional advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider before making any medical or wellness decisions. While we discuss pharmaceutical, holistic, and alternative health topics, our content is not a substitute for professional medical guidance.